Coming up, a man from Oklahoma sees the inside of a jail cell after leading the police on a chase that involved a shooting.
Abnormally warm to end 1 month, and then we've got winter weather to open up the next month. Cold weather is on the way with the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a beloved chicken restaurant in Pittsburgh goes up for sale. We'll have what this means for it and those who love the restaurant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
Clear and calm as can be on this Monday morning, Tanya. That's because with no cloud cover, the temperatures actually did kind of drop quickly after sunset yesterday. So we sit right now with a whole bunch of mid-20s for the most part, but such a wide variety because we still have mid-30s throughout southwest Missouri. 34 is where we sit right now in Joplin, but look at what we've got out to the far west. We drop as low as 18 degrees in Sedan. So and remember, that's not a wind chill. Those are actual temperatures that we're talking about. So a little here, there, and everywhere as far as the mercury goes, but are we in store for a wonderful end of January? We're going to push up into the 60s right here. That's about 20 degrees above where we would normally be. Whole lot of sunshine, good south wind. We're going to have to fight that. But we also have been talking about what is here to open up February. We actually will have a winter storm warning that will go into effect at midnight. So here's what we've got cooking here on Future Track. Monday we get through unscathed. We get into Tuesday, cloud cover begins to grow. A little spotty rain for Tuesday morning. That's certainly not too bad. Then the rain becomes a little bit more widespread for the afternoon hours. It's Tuesday into Wednesday. The precipitation sticks around. The temperatures continue to drop. We've got snow up to the north and northwest. We've got a little bit of the wintry mix. That means the rain and the freezing rain. A little freezing drizzle in there. Going to have some travel concerns for Thursday morning. That is for sure. Graduates down to rain as we push through the southern portion of southwest Missouri, and it sticks around. And not only that, look at the temperatures. We not only have the 20s on Wednesday and Thursday, more importantly, that precipitation, that snow, whether it's ice or snow, it has no place to go because our overnight lows 15, 3, and 5 as we head into the weekend.
Okay, that's just miserable sounding.
I'm sorry about that. 64 today, did I mention that?
Enjoy, for
64 today.
All right, thanks, Michael. A man from Miami, Oklahoma is in custody after he led police on a car chase with multiple shots fired. Authorities say they got a call around 8 a.m. on Saturday saying 2 vehicles were chasing each other and a person in one car was shooting at the other car. The 2 eventually stopped and one person got out of the car and began shooting at the other car again. Officers later located the car that shots had been fired from. They discovered 2 men in the car and took one into custody. The investigation is still underway. Cherokee County Area Beekeepers Club team up with the K-State Research and Extension Office to shed some light on beekeeping. The 2 partnered up and hosted a beekeeping class. A number of topics were covered, including bee biology, equipment and supplies, as well as taking care of and acquiring bees.
It's very important for the pollination of our flowers and our crops. It's very important to keep our bees around because that's what pollinates our food supply. 90% of our food is pollinated with the bees. So if we don't have the bees and other pollinators such as hummingbirds and the birds, we would be without a major food chain.
We need those bees. There was also a hands-on activity assembling a hive to be given away at the end of the class. Well, candle making was given a spotlight as Black Crow Trading Company hosted a candle pouring event. Participants had an opportunity to make their own candles. The idea came from one of the vendors at Black Crow who makes candles regularly as a way to bring the community together.
Just getting the community together. Like I said, having something to do even on a Sunday when there's not a lot going on brings us together. COVID kind of took a lot of those activities away from us, so this is something that we can just enjoy together.
Owen says as a small community, it's important to support their local businesses. Well, from beekeeping to candle making, the 4 states had all sorts of events happening over the weekend. The First Baptist Church of Riverton added to that list of events with a soap making class. The class was open to ladies ages 16 and up. In the class, the women learn how to make soap, of course, and the importance of homemade soap, which gives you control of the ingredients, color, and fragrance. It also allows for some creativity, giving you a unique soap where you can't find it anywhere else.
Anything that you could do at home instead are the conversations that we want to have so that we have less reliability on the grocery store, because COVID really has shown us that accessibility is hard during these times, and two, the price is so high. So looking at anything we can do to be more economical and share our resources and grow together.
Each lady went home with 6 bars of soap and some recipes. Well, a dozen kids in the 4 states had a chance to learn a new skill this weekend thanks to the Spiva Center for the Arts. They held an entry-level photography class to help kids learn the basics of photography. Children 10 and younger were able to learn the basics of photography with some pretty good hands-on experience. They were each given their own camera that they will be able to take home for a week to continue to hone their skills. In March, they'll return to the center and have their own exhibit showing off their art.
Our goal is to get kids as young as possible to learn about art and how to have fun with art and not be intimidated by art. You know, everybody's an artist. It doesn't matter whether somebody else thinks your work is good or not. It's what you like and you having fun doing it.
Susan says they have multiple school buses with 50 or more students a day coming to Spiva with kids getting to learn and create their own art. She also says there's a new Spiva Center being built that will be finished by the fall. This will allow them to host even more events for people of all ages. Well, beloved chicken restaurant is up for sale. Now, which beloved chicken restaurant may that be? It's the iconic Chicken Mary's, located north of Pittsburgh. But it's not closing. A manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations.
We'll always have a connection. But you know, I'm going to miss being here, the joy of, I don't know, seeing people happy. You know, there's a lot of things I'm really going to miss. It's going to be super hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's going to be easy to walk away, because it's not. But, you know, there's things in life I want to do while I'm still able to do them too.
Cobb Realty Company has posted the property price at $1.1 million. It's 5:07.
Anywhere from 18 to 36 degrees here as we stand about 7 minutes past the top of the hour. Now, eventually we all get to enjoy temps in the 60s. Whole bunch of sunshine throughout our Monday, and then into the evening, very mild, even with the increased cloud cover. So why in the world would we be talking about winter storm watches for the majority of our highlighted counties? Because as we get into Tuesday afternoon, it begins with rain, and then the cold front takes that rain, transitions it not only into snow, but a little freezing rain as well for Wednesday into Thursday, with daily highs only in the 20s for the middle of the week.
This morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, MSSU Lady Lions host Northeast State this weekend. Stick around and we'll have the results of that game. Plus, would you get married in a snowstorm? That's what one Rhode Island couple did. We'll have why they didn't let the snowstorm stop their big day. And we'll meet a boy who got an artificial pancreas to help manage his type 1 diabetes. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Adult and Teen Challenge.
Kansas City Chiefs were appearing in their 4th consecutive AFC Championship game yesterday, hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. As you may remember, the Bengals beat the Chiefs in the regular season. This game here, trip to the Super Bowl on the line. Pick it up with this crazy but not too surprising play by Patrick Mahomes in the second quarter. Escapes pressure, finds his main man Travis Kelce for the 5-yard touchdown. 14-3 Chiefs. Looks like the route may be on, but Joe Burrow finds Samaje Perine. Perine goes 41 yards to the end zone. Bengals' first touchdown of the game, and Chiefs get held at the 1-yard line just before halftime. Makes it 21-10 at the break. Third quarter, Mahomes. There, right there. That ended up being a big play. Tyreek Hill couldn't get in. So it's 21-10. B.J. Hill comes up with the interception in the third quarter. A few plays later, Burrow to his main man, Jamar Chase. Bengals go for the 2, get it tied at 21. Still tied after regulation. In OT, Chiefs with the ball. Mahomes looking for Hill, but it's picked off. Mahomes' second interception of the day. Bengals drive down. Evan McPherson, the rookie, his 10th field goal of the postseason. Walks it off with a 31-yard field goal. Cincinnati shocking KC 27-24, winning the AFC Championship.
We expect to be in that game and to win that game. And anything less than that is not success. And when you're playing a good team and you don't hit what's there and you try to get a little bit more than what's necessary, you kind of bite you in the butt, I guess you would say. I mean, it's something that we were playing so well in the first half. In the second half, we were just off a tick, and that's all it takes to lose a football game. But I mean, I got to be better. I mean, when you're up 21-3 at one point in the game, you can't lose it. And I put that on myself.
49ers in the NFC Championship, scoreless after one. And then Matthew Stafford fires to Cooper Kupp in the corner of the end zone. For the Niners, Deebo Samuel, once the ball's in his hand, he's gone. 44-yard touchdown. Niners lead 10-7 at the half. Let's go to the third quarter as the Niners add to the lead. George Kittle, 18-yard score. San Francisco leads 17-7. This one appears to be over. Third and short. Stafford back to Kupp. Kupp, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. LA hits 2 field goals and all of a sudden is ahead 20-17. Niners looking at third and long, less than 2 minutes left to play. Pressure from Errol Donaldson. Travin Howard grabs the interception as Jimmy Garoppolo says, I'm just going to throw it up. I don't want to go down. Rams snap a 6-game losing streak to the 49ers, win it 20-17. LA headed to the Super Bowl. Not going to lie to you. It's kind of rooting for San Francisco last night because if you're a Cincinnati Bengal fan and you're going to exercise some demons, let's do it the right way. No. Joe Montana's no longer there. John Taylor's no longer there. All right, we play the Rams. Super Bowl 56 is set. Cincinnati, its first trip to the Super Bowl since 1989. And the Rams, they get to play in their home stadium, SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, this will be back-to-back games and back-to-back years in which we've had one of these Super Bowl teams play at their home stadium. And remember, it's sort of an anomaly because when Tampa Bay did it last year, they were the first team ever to do it. Super Bowl set to kick February 13th at 5:30. Missouri Southern men and women on a roll as of late as Southern swept Northeastern State on Saturday. That was the 7th win in a row for the women. They're currently 11-3 in the MIAA. That's good enough for third place. And against the Red Hawks, Lacey Stokes posted her 6th game of 20 or more points this season. Oh, by the way, she also added 7 assists. Caitlin Honeycutt and Lane Skiles making some huge contributions as well. Was not a perfect day for the Lions, but made the adjustments, got the job done.
I thought the first half they were the more energetic team, more effort team, getting to the loose balls, getting second chance opportunities, and I thought we did a much better job in the second half.
He was just telling us what we need to do, talking about rebounding, that's something I feel like we've really done well at these last few games, and we just couldn't find our, touch. We kind of, told everyone, everybody it's a team thing, and it's not just, our bigs.
Missouri Southern men beat Northeastern State 77-66 as Stan Scott dropped his 3rd straight double-double. Christian Bundy and Avery Taggart also finished in double digits, and R.J. Smith playing his first game back since he was injured in November. Well, Smith received a standing ovation when he came in the game, brought everyone back on their feet with that big dunk right before halftime.
It took a minute for me to realize what even happened, and then afterwards everybody's coming up screaming at me, and then that kind of just hyped me up. So then I was like, yeah, that was good, and that's something I will never forget.
I thought his energy, just his voice, and it was just uplifting for our team. Just, even in practice, just having him out on the floor, and his communication skills on the defensive end has been really big for us. And that's what at times we missed this year without him being out. And but that's one of the best things that he does for us. He just plays so hard.
He was resentenced in
PSU Invitational on Saturday. Missouri Southern competing as well. Both teams enjoying a day of huge success as the Pitt State women won 4 events. Isabel Peters in the pole vault, Iona Childress in the triple jump, Christine Williams won the 200-meter dash, and the PSU women won the distance medley. And for the men, L.J. Kiner won the long jump. Bryce Grahn took first in the 3,000 meter, and the men's distance medley also won. Missouri Southern's Claire Llewellyn, well, she placed second in the long jump as Llewellyn posted an NCAA provisional qualifying distance of 5.88 meters, and that mark ties her career best. Get this, the third best in Lion indoor track history. Ryan Riddle won the mile, ran it in 4 minutes, 1.59 seconds, set the facility and meet record, and was only half a second off his own school record. His time good for 5th nationally this season. And Josh Fulmer won the weight throw, an NCAA provisional qualifying distance. Mason York, he won the pole vault. Sounds like our school's just absolutely clean house. Love that. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, citizens in Ukraine arming themselves as a war with Russia possibly looms, and a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Not going to be able to break any January 31st records, but at the same point in time, that 46 won't blow past that for our average high this time of year. We're sitting right now, we've got a wide variety of temperatures. Once again, we'll be about 10 degrees short, stopping short of that 75 from 1989. But look at this, out to the left-hand portion of your screen right there, Sedan only sits at 19, and we're as high as 35 in Carthage. Let's roll 27 in Miami and 30 right now. What's up? 30 right now in Fort Scott. Skywatch Storm Tracker clear as a bell. All that cloud cover that we had overnight is either pushed off to the southeast or stayed up to the northeast of us. And the national perspective, got the old ridge of the jet stream that we like to talk about. And there it is right there. It's not a very pronounced ridge. It just has a little bump to it. But as that moves over us, that also means very, very warm temperatures. The weather trend for today lifting us up into the 60s. That's right, mid-60s with a whole bunch of sunshine. Now, we know we've got winter weather a-coming. Here's what we'll begin with. Tuesday, it starts as rain. So tomorrow afternoon and evening, temperatures still pretty good and well above the freezing mark, enough to keep it as rain for that time. But then as we work from Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, that's our transition time. Drop below freezing, the pink indicating some wintry precipitation. And it will also, of course, mean some freezing rain as well, with snow then to the north. And then as we dip all the way through Wednesday, the snow kind of dominates, especially along in north of I-44, to the point where we have winter storm watches for all those highlighted counties right there. Now, those are not in effect right now. Those don't take effect until tomorrow at midnight. But look, they don't expire until Friday, and that's because we've got a 7-day forecast with temperatures so low from Wednesday through Saturday that that snow, a little bit of that ice, not going to go anywhere. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. As they say, you can't stop love. One couple had been waiting for the day, got married. We're not going to let a snowstorm stop them. So just a couple days ago, they tied the knot, not caring about the weather. Taylor Roca takes us to Rhode Island for the story.
Now pronounce you husband and wife.
January 29th. It's a day that's been circled on the calendar for over a year for Adam and Sally Irujo.
We've been planning it for 14 months.
We have we have a few cutting boards with the state on it,
mugs.
and a couple mugs, and a marriage license with it on it.
When news of a potentially historic blizzard hitting the Northeast put their special date in jeopardy, the couple said, "No problem."
We thought it was going to be really hard, and then it all came together. Like the Providence Public Library worked with us so well. All our vendors somehow were available the next day, and I think it was just meant to be.
Surrounded by frozen friends and family.
I now present to you Mr. and Mrs. Sally and Adam Irujo.
We're psyched.
Yeah, we're so psyched. Snow couldn't stop us. It feels amazing to have all these people we love around us here to share this day with us.
Carrie behind the camera here saying now they're both going to bring pneumonia back with them from the honeymoon. Brings us to our something to talk about, our question, what's your ideal season to have a wedding in? We'll catch up with some of your answers and responses here. Health Watch is next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, researchers in England say there's new evidence that an artificial pancreas helps to better control blood sugar levels in young children with type 1 diabetes. Families are calling it life-changing, as CBS's Ian Lee reports from Cambridge.
8-year-old Eddie is juggling a lot in his life: school, sports, and his type 1 diabetes. It's a handful for his parents too.
When you get a child who has been diagnosed with diabetes, it is really, really obviously very scary.
Eddie's family says managing his glucose levels has been a difficult 24-hour job, testing his blood 12 times a day and injecting insulin.
Yeah, my fingers got a little bit sore from having it a lot of times.
And you have this cannula?
Now a team at Cambridge University in England has found an artificial pancreas may be better than traditional treatment at controlling the disease in very young children.
So there's 3 components to the closed loop. So there's the glucose sensor, the app on the phone, and the pump.
Current treatment requires parents to manually adjust insulin levels, but the wearable technology replaces the constant poking and prodding.
And then it automatically calculates how much insulin should be given to get the glucose levels to the healthy range. And it then tells the insulin pump how much insulin to give.
Get more time.
Other artificial pancreas systems have been developed around the world. Cambridge researchers tested their technology on children ages 2 to 7 and found blood sugar levels were stable for longer.
And particularly overnight, more than 80% of the time, the glucose levels were in the healthy range.
Giving Eddie and his family their lives back.
I can bounce on trampoline, I can play with my dog. I couldn't do anything, but now all I have to do is have some insulin or had something to eat, then I can go back to playing.
And enjoying just being a kid. Ian Lee, CBS News, Cambridge, England.
Researchers say the artificial pancreas still requires parents to manually input insulin doses at mealtime, but they're working to change that in the future. Ottawa police say multiple criminal investigations are now underway related to the weekend's anti-COVID vaccine demonstrations. The so-called Freedom Convoy began in response to the Canadian government's decision to impose a vaccine mandate on cross-border truckers. The protests gained support from others opposed to vaccine and mask mandates, but authorities say protesters desecrated several national monuments. Protesters are also accused of threatening and intimidating police and city workers. Canada's chief of defense said, quote, "I am sickened to see protesters dance on the tomb of the unknown soldier and desecrate the National War Memorial." Teams are now in place to identify those who engaged in illegal behavior or activities. 2 Long Island, New York nurses face forgery charges for allegedly making fake COVID-19 vaccination cards and profiting from it. 49-year-old Julie Duvano and 41-year-old Marissa Uraro were arrested and arraigned last week in Suffolk County District Court. Duvano is owner and operator of Wild Child Pediatric Healthcare, with Uraro an employee. The district attorney says the pair allegedly forged cards to show vaccine doses were given when they were not. False information was then allegedly entered into a state health database. Prosecutors say searches of Duvano's home uncovered a ledger detailing profits of more than $1.5 million, along with $900,000 in cash. Duvano and Uraro are due back in court February 8th. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, a man from Miami, Oklahoma sees the inside of a jail cell after leading the police on a chase that involved a shooting.
Morning temps a little bit deceiving because it's going to be abnormally warm to wrap up January, but we've got cold weather on the way. The latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a beloved chicken restaurant in Pittsburgh goes up for sale. We'll have what this means for it and those who love the restaurant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, Michael Hayslip is tracking these changing temps.
Tanya, it's amazing when we look at the board right now. I mean, we've still got a 19 on the board, and eventually we're going to end up in the mid-60s.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a great month, and it's not even going to be too windy. I mean, yeah, we'll get a little south wind, but we have to if we're going to make it up into the 60s. There's that 19 I was talking about out in Sedan right there. It's 34 already in Joplin. Like I said, we are spread all over the place temperature-wise right now. Eventually, everybody gets to warm up because we're going to be dominated by sunshine here once we get to sunrise around 7:24. Remain on the dry side for the time being. That's going to change. There's a ridge of the jet stream, not too pronounced, but a little bit of a hump right there. And as it moves from west to east over us, that's an indicator of the warmer temperatures. Thunderstorm activity stays down in South Texas. That is what we're looking at right now, as unimpressive as that looks. Big low pressure system making its way off the Pacific Northwest and is simply going to follow the jet stream right down through us for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Weather trend on this Monday, though, the last day of January, lifting us up around 63, 64 degrees. And really, the beginning of Tuesday is not going to be too bad at all either. Then when we get into Tuesday afternoon and evening, we begin to pick up the scattered rain. Becomes a little bit more widespread. See a little bit of it wanting to hit pretty hard down there south of I-44. And then the cold front hits. As the cold Canadian air drops in, we've still got all that moisture up in the air. Snow to the north, the pink indicating the wintry mix, whether that be a little combo of some snow and some freezing rain, and then rain down to the south in southern Missouri and northwest Arkansas. And then it lasts all the way through. Wednesday is going to be a mess. Wednesday morning, and Wednesday evening for the commutes. I don't care if you're leaving it Wednesday at noon. Wednesday is going to pose a problem travel-wise, and as it continues to roll through, our accumulation numbers grow. We've got winter storm watches that go into effect Wednesday at midnight, last all the way to Friday, and our temperatures just extremely and dangerously cold. Look at those overnight lows, 15, 3, and 5. Take advantage of today. Get outside and enjoy sunshine and warm January temps.
All right, thanks, Michael. A man from Miami, Oklahoma is in custody after he led police on a car chase with multiple shots fired. Authorities say they got a call around 8 a.m. Saturday saying two vehicles were chasing each other and a person in one car was shooting at the other car. The two eventually stopped and one person got out of a car, began shooting at the other car again. Officers later located the car the shots had been fired from. They discovered two men in the car and took one into custody. The investigation is still underway. A beloved chicken restaurant is up for sale. Now, which chicken restaurant may that be? Well, it's the iconic Chicken Mary's located north of Pittsburgh. It's not closing, though. A manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations.
We'll always have a connection. But I'm going to miss being here, the joy of, seeing people happy. There's a lot of things I'm really going to miss. It's going to be super hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's going to be easy to walk away, because it's not. But, there's things in life I want to do while I'm still able to do them too.
Cobb Realty Company has posted the property price at $1.1 million. An event that fishers and hunters love returns to Pittsburgh this weekend. The show featured a number of events and exhibits. Some of the things featured included boats, ATVs, tractors, and mowers. There was even a kids casting contest.
We had this is our 16th annual fishing and hunting show. We've had a great turnout. Yesterday was the busiest day I've seen, with just tons of exhibitors, fishing, hunting, taxidermy, all kinds of good stuff for people to see.
The event was held at the Memorial Auditorium and Convention Center. Pittsburgh Wrestling Club hosted a tournament for kids of all skill levels over the weekend. The tournament provides multiple divisions for both experienced and novice athletes. Those athletes range from kindergarten to 8th grade.
So this is our second annual 4-state duels. We're trying to get teams from all 4 states here in our 4-state area. We got teams from Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas here. We didn't get an Arkansas representative this year, but we got 28 teams, about 300 kids here today.
Tournament was held at the high school.
Isn't LC amazing? The way he works with kids, the way he loves that sport. I loved hearing from him and everything he's done for the wrestling. Not only the Pittsburgh wrestling just wrestling programs in general across the 4 states. LC's had such an integral part in. So thank you. If you see him out, tell him that I said thank you, and thank him as well if you have time to. All right, coming off the nor'easter that blasted the northeastern portion of the United States, they got, I was looking it up in Providence, Rhode Island, that wedding that took place right there, because these people were like diehards. Like, no, Mother Nature's not getting in our way. Well, they had about 24 inches of snow that fell right there. The highest record one I can find is 34 inches. in Atlantic City. Yeah, 34 inches of snow. Our question to you and our something to talk about in our morning Insta poll: what's your ideal season to have a wedding in? Hopefully not snow season. I did make that an option. 58 of you say the springtime, obviously the most popular. 28% say summer, and I think the 14% of everyone, I think it should be fall. But we just were like, no season. You see that, Tanya? Right, no season.
Yeah, probably fall. Fall's
maybe
a beautiful season.
Maybe that 14% right there.
Fall is a beautiful season for the colors.
Maybe that 14% is I ain't doing a wedding. How about that?
My aunt told me they got married in January in Wisconsin, which is like, you know, it's going to be cold in Wisconsin in January. There's no way around that. I remember her telling me about like the layers of long underwear she wore under her wedding dress. Yes.
I didn't take that into consideration. Yeah. Having to wear that under her dress. Now, a quick question. When she was fitted for the dress, did she take that into consideration?
Oh, I'm sure. Huh. I don't know. I never specifically asked that.
That's interesting.
I would hope so.
All right, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. No reason to worry about temperatures today. Last day of January, all the way up to 64. Then prepare for it, because February ushers in the winter weather. We start with rain Tuesday afternoon, and then we turn that into rain and wintry mix for Wednesday morning all the way through into Thursday.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, Kristen Bell stars in a show that's a dark comedy with a title that parodies other thrillers. Let's just say it's a little wordy. Started watching it yesterday. It's a thriller too. Plus, North Korea tested its new missile system, causing worry about what could be next from the country. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch as Russia's troop buildup continues on the Ukraine border. Ordinary citizens are joining the Ukrainian militia to defend their country. Sam Kiley reports from Kyiv.
An abandoned asphalt factory near Kyiv is now a training ground for civilians who volunteered to fight off a possible Russian invasion. They're outnumbered here by journalists and armed at best with pellet guns. They know they'll be outmatched by Moscow's military machine, but they are keen.
We have a crucial moment for our country. We have really big risk that Russian invasion might occur really soon. So that's why even civilians have to be ready.
These men believe that it's their country's democracy that Vladimir Putin fears more than a threat posed by European Union or NATO membership.
In Putin's Russia, all Russian citizens are completely slaves. He feels the threat because Ukrainians gave to Russians and Belarusians a bad example. We show to our neighbors how each citizen of free will must defend his social and national rights.
You wouldn't know that Ukraine's government says that Russia has at least 127,000 troops massed on 3 sides of the country here in the capital, where there are no signs of impending war. And in the poorer districts, where people hawk whatever they can to get by, the mood is similar.
People are relaxed, although for some I would say not. It depends on the circles you communicate in. If someone in your family is from the military or the police, it's a completely different mood.
But aged air raid shelters are being opened, just in case.
The Ukrainian government is appealing to its population for calm, but at the same time dusting off the Soviet-era bunkers because there is a threat to a young country's democracy.
This shelter can house about 300 people. It even has a hand-cranked air filtration system. Kiev has the capacity to shelter 2.8 million of the estimated 3 million residents in 5,000 bunkers and in the metro system. It's an irony lost on no one here that this shelter was built in 1956 to protect against NATO striking Russia and the Soviet Union. Now it's offering shelter against a possible attack by Russia.
North Korea announces it has test-fired an intermediate missile named the Hwasong-12 on Sunday. This is according to North Korea's state-run news agency, a Korean central news agency. The test fire was conducted to inspect the ground-to-ground intermediate-range ballistic missile, as well as verifying the overall accuracy of the weapon system. A report came out saying it confirmed the accuracy, safety, and operational effectiveness of the weapon system in production. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Do you need your...
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The infamous Tiger King won't be seeing the outside of a jail cell anytime soon. Federal judge has resentenced Tiger King Joe Exotic to 21 years in prison. Former zookeeper in Oklahoma, whose real name is Joseph Maldonado Passage, was convicted in a murder-for-hire case involving his chief rival, Carol Baskin. He was sentenced 2 years ago to 22 years in prison, but a federal appeals court ruled last year that the proper sentencing guidelines were not used. He was resentenced in Oklahoma City. Prosecutors say Maldonado Passage tried to hire 2 different people, including an undercover FBI agent, to kill Baskin, who had criticized his treatment of animals. Baskin attended Friday's sentencing and said Maldonado Passage, quote, continues to harbor intense feelings of ill will toward me. A beloved chicken restaurant is up for sale. Now, which beloved chicken restaurant may that be? Why, it's the iconic Chicken Mary's located in rural Pittsburgh. It's not closing, though. A manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations. Susan Babcock may work in insurance, but her passion lies in art. At the Oswego Senior Center, Susan put on what she likes to call a paint party. These parties can be public or they can be private. Although the holiday season is past, winter is still upon us and in full swing. Susan and her students painted snowmen decorations to put up on their door. 50 schools and 1,000 archery students came to Carl Junction for an annual event. Now, this annual event is the Pink Shoot, which brings together archery students from across the region. The reason it's the Pink Shoot is they work to get Hope for You Breast Cancer Foundation involved and help raise money for them throughout the day. For some of the competitors, including the coach, this tournament means a lot for them. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Sunny skies are going to lift us up into the 60s. It's going to be abnormally warm for this time of year. South wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Get some gust of 20 miles per hour. Overnight, not too bad as well. Very, very mild, about the high 40s, as low as we're going to drop. And then Mother Nature will make things even. We'll begin with rain for Tuesday afternoon into the evening hours. And then on top of the rain comes a massive Canadian cold front that will shift that over to snow and freezing rain for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Snow becomes even more widespread and sticks around pretty much all Wednesday long, and it's not going to be able to go anywhere because our temperatures below freezing from Wednesday all the way to Friday. We'll be back with more KOAM morning news right after this.
With 4 strips of
Kristen Bell stars in a new Netflix series named The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. Yes, that's the name. Rick Damigella talked with Bell about the show.
Hi, I'm Anna. The truth is that I drink a lot, and sometimes I mix it with pills.
Kristen Bell is the woman in the house across the street from the girl in the window.
911. Someone has been murdered.
The darkly comedic send-up of similarly titled thrillers finds Bell opening a lot of wine.
So many. And the particular wine opener, which I believe was called a rabbit, was I struggled with in the beginning. And there were times that I've taken things on, you know, using nunchucks or a weapon or something that I'm like, I can just do it. I see how it's done. And I had to practice with this wine opener. I also haven't opened a ton of bottles of wine in my day, but I opened more on this show than I will need to do for a lifetime.
She also broke a lot of casseroles.
I would, really practice, like I'm going to drop it right here, and this is the height I'm going to drop it from, so I only have to do it once, because also someone's cleaning it up. Like there are human beings on the set that have to wipe up all of that soupy casserole. So I was very committed to only dropping it once, and then also would more often than not try to help clean it up with the paper towels, and then wardrobe would pull me away.
Life is for the living. And so are casseroles.
Watching from across the street in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
There is a little bit of suspense in it too. I started watching and I have the first 2 episodes down. I started it yesterday. We'll be right back with another look at your forecast when we return.
Got the teens, 20s, and 30s kind of graduate from the lower temps out to the west. Then to the central portion, we were caught in between, and we're as high as 35 in southwest Missouri, where Carthage right now is the leader. It's a clean Skywatch storm tracker. Little cloud cover hanging up to the north right there, but really won't affect us too much. Majority of the clouds will stay off to the northeast, so we'll get a whole lot of sunshine. Combo that with a south wind, and we're going to make it up into the 60s today. That's right, the 60s at the end of January. The Skywatch storm tracker, pretty mundane as far as what we see precipitation-wise. We are eyeballing the Pacific Northwest, and I'll tell you why here in a second. First off, let's get through Monday, where the sunny skies and warm temps are going to be replaced by winter weather by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll start with rain that will present itself for Tuesday afternoon, push into the afternoon hours, and then the cold Canadian air mass from Tuesday night into Wednesday brings us snow and wintry precipitation. We've got winter storm watches in effect for the majority of the 4 states, and we'll break that down when we return right after this.
We're here to help.
Coming up, a man from Miami, Oklahoma sees the inside of a jail cell after leading police on a chase involving a shooting.
We're going to cruise past that average high for the final day of January, but we've got cold weather on the way, and we'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a beloved chicken restaurant in Pittsburgh goes up for sale. We'll have what this means for it and those who love the restaurant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first let's go to Michael Hayslip. And we're in for such a beautiful day.
Beautiful Monday, and then by the time you and I get to the middle of the week, we're going to be saying, oh, what happened in February? There's that average high I was talking about, Tanya, 46 degrees. While we're still quite a bit below that, we are going to move straight past it here probably by the time we get into the mid-morning hours. 34 degrees is where we stand over 7th and Rangeline right now. We are as low as 21 right now in Neodesha and 20 in Parsons, but still throughout southwest Missouri, got a couple of them above the freezing mark, and let's go 27 in Miami. Skywatch storm tracker, no precipitation to speak of. Will be dry on this final day of January. January, a very dry month. In particular, there's the ridge of the jet stream. That's going to bring us the warmer temperatures as it progresses to the east. Off to the Pacific Northwest, there's a big low pressure system that's coming in off the Pacific, and we're going to combo that with cold Canadian air that's going to bring us a true taste of winter weather for the first couple days of February. For today, though, 64 degrees in January. My goodness, not close to the record of 75, but still can't complain. And then overnight, managing to stay in the low 50s. We'll see high 40s really for the most part. Now here's Future Track. We get into Tuesday afternoon and evening. It starts as rain. And then the cold Canadian air drops down, takes all that rain. We go snow. We go the freezing rain. That is going to be Wednesday morning. Is going to be just plan on getting out early on Wednesday. And then if on the way home on Wednesday, just plan on taking your time, because look, this thing just sticks around with all that moisture in the air and the cold temperatures. As a matter of fact, anything that we do have on the ground, snow and ice-wise, we're going to be hard-pressed to get rid of it. There's your winter storm watch that goes into effect Wednesday at midnight, and then our temperatures, only daily highs in the 20s and overnight lows in single digits.
All right, well, we can make it through the week. It's not going to be cold forever. I'll be positive. Yeah, we'll try anyway. All right, thanks, Michael. A man from Miami, Oklahoma finds himself in custody after he leads police on a car chase with multiple shots fired. Authorities say they got the call around 8 a.m. Saturday, saying 2 vehicles were chasing each other and a person in one car was shooting at the other car. The 2 eventually stopped, and one person got out of the car and began shooting at the other car again. Officers later located the car that shots had been fired from. They discovered 2 men in the vehicle and took one of them into custody. The investigation is still underway. Cherokee County Area Beekeepers Club teams up with the K-State Research and Extension Office to create a buzz about beekeeping. The two partnered up and hosted a beekeeping class. A number of topics were covered, including bee biology, equipment, and supplies, as well as taking care of and acquiring bees.
It's very important for the pollination of our flowers and our crops. It's very important to keep our bees around because that's what pollinates our food supply. 90% of our food is pollinated with the bees. So if we don't have the bees and other pollinators such as hummingbirds and the birds, we would be without a major food chain.
There was also a hands-on activity assembling a hive to be given away at the end of the class. Well, from beekeeping to candle making, the 4 states had all sorts of events taking place over the weekend. First Baptist Church of Riverton added to that list with a soap making class. Now the class was open to ladies, because this was in a specific ladies club, ages 16 and up. In the class, the women learned how to make soap, of course, and the importance of homemade soap, which gives you control of the ingredients, color, and fragrance. It also allows for some creativity, giving you a unique soap that you can't find anywhere else.
Anything that you could do at home instead are the conversations that we want to have so that we have less reliability on the grocery store, because COVID really has shown us that accessibility is hard during these times, and two, the price is so high. So looking at anything we can do to be more economical and share our resources and grow together.
Each lady went home with 6 bars of soap and some recipes. Well, a dozen kids in the 4 states had a chance to learn a new skill this weekend thanks to the Spiva Center for the Arts. They held an entry-level photography class to help kids learn the basics of photography. Children 10 and younger were able to learn the basics with some pretty hands-on experience. They were each given their own camera they'll be able to take home for a week to continue to hone their skills. In March, they'll return to the center and have their own exhibit showing off their art.
Our goal is to get kids as young as possible to learn about art and how to have fun with art and not be intimidated by art. You know, everybody's an artist. It doesn't matter whether somebody else thinks your work is good or not. It's what you like and you having fun doing it.
Susan says they have multiple school buses with 50 or more students a day coming to Spiva, with kids getting to learn and create their own art. She also says there's a new Spiva Center being built that will be finished by the fall, and this will allow them to host even more events for people of all ages. Well, as you heard, a beloved chicken restaurant is up for sale, but which one is that, you ask? Well, it's the iconic Chicken Mary's located north of Pittsburgh, but it's not closing. A manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations.
We'll always have a connection, but you know, I'm going to miss being here, the joy of, I don't know, seeing people happy. You know, there's a lot of things I'm really going to miss. It's going to be super hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's going to be easy to walk away, because it's not. But, you know, there's things in life I want to do while I'm still able to do them too.
Cobb Realty Company has posted the property price at $1.1 million. Well, on this date, back in 1606, British provocateur Guy Fawkes, I guess that's how you say his name, he was executed for his part in the plot to blow up the British Parliament. Gunpowder plot was a failed attempt to assassinate King James I of England during the opening of Parliament on November 4th of 1605. The plan was organized by Robert Catesby in an effort to end persecution of Roman Catholics by the English government. Fawkes was discovered around midnight on November 4th in the cellar of the Parliament building with 36 barrels of gunpowder. Fawkes was taken into custody and tortured for information. With the information from Fawkes, the English government learned the identities of all the conspirators involved and subsequently hunted them down and killed or captured all of them. There you go.
Leading to Guy Fawkes Night and you being obsessed with our royals.
Okay, I was like, where are we going with this?
And the line, the royal line. I don't think am I off base when I say that?
No, I'm definitely obsessed with the Royal line.
I believe the goal was to, because you and I laugh about, it's funny the way things turn out and everything. I believe that they wanted to replace him with Princess Elizabeth, which would have taken the line in a completely different way.
Are you talking about King James?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was Princess Elizabeth who was sympathetic to the Catholic conspirators on that one. So yeah, imagine where we would be today if that would have happened.
Well,
you wouldn't get your dose of Meghan Markle news, though. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that, folks.
No, I'm obsessed with the royal family.
You just took a jab at Meghan, and it's 10 after 6 on a Monday morning.
Oh, well.
Mostly sunny skies, highs around 64 degrees today. Now, Monday is delightful. Tuesday, not a bad morning. Tuesday afternoon begins the rain. Wednesday, early Wednesday morning, that's when it turns into snow and freezing rain.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Emily Frankowski from Connect to Culture stops by with some news about an international film festival coming to Joplin. This is exciting and you don't want to miss that. Plus, we've heard about supply chain issues for months, and now truck drivers get a chance to weigh in on the problem. And there's some welcome news in the fight against Omicron as the surge appears to drop off. And some major cities have plans to roll back mask mandates. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, Roland Caballero, who is accused of shooting 3 Houston police officers, is now facing additional federal charges. The trade group, American Trucking Associations, estimates that the U.S. trucking industry is 80,000 drivers short. Many cite historic driver shortages as one of the reasons for product shortages and rising prices, but the drivers themselves say it's not that simple. Hannah McKenzie reports.
Of truck drivers blamed for bare shelves across the country. But those in the know say that's not the full story.
I've been driving trucks since 2004.
Rico Muhammad just finishing up a 12-hour shift hauling produce from Atlanta to Asheville.
I think that there has been disparaging in pay, which is why we don't have enough drivers on the road.
Driver shortage is the tip of the iceberg, he says. Supply chain issues go deeper.
Free shipping and all that stuff is all the craze right now, but somebody has to end up bearing that cost. That's why you're starting to see the spikes in prices at the grocery stores and things of that nature, because shipping costs has to eventually trickle down to the consumer.
Over at Trans Tech CDL Driving School in Fletcher, there's a waiting list to enroll.
We've upped our numbers almost 50% per week.
Site manager Doug Gragg telling us supply chain shortages also due to tighter laws for drivers.
Their mileage has been cut down to keep within the regulations now. So you need more drivers to haul the same freight because you're getting less mileage out of them.
Riley Butts, nearing graduation.
Hopefully next week we test out, and then after that we just gotta go back to DMV, get our license, and we're good to go.
From classroom to field training, Bragg tells me anyone can earn a commercial driver's license in as little as 4 weeks. Yep, even me. The industry ever evolving, Bragg says. These truckers driven to meet growing demand.
There's nothing you use on a daily basis that hasn't been on a truck at one time or another.
So true. Federal regulators have proposed lowering the required age for truckers to cross state lines from 21 to 18. The goal would be to attract more drivers to address the shortage. That's a look at today's top national story. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. As we venture into the month of February, we know we're going to be chock full of events, culturally and entertainment-wise, because we have great organizations like Connect to Culture and great morning show friends like Emily Frankowski. Frank, one of our favorite usual representatives here on the morning show. Emily, number one, I want to thank you for your time this morning. Number two, I know that you have been swamped and are going to be swamped bringing us marvelous events. I'd like to start with what's going on at Missouri Southern, because there's an international film festival, and so oftentimes we miss wonderful movies and wonderful presentations that may come out from different countries and different cultures, and this kind of gives us a chance to see what other people are doing movie making wise.
Yeah, definitely. And Missouri Southern State University is such an international campus as well. They always have those theme semesters that they base, each semester off of, and they have different events. But this is the International Film Festival that they do. I think they've done it for a few years now, or in this kind of format. Basically, there are 8 different films, and a variety of different professors at Missouri Southern select the films, and then that professor that selected the film will also give an intro, which I think is really cool. So you'll see films from, Mexico, Spain, France, India even, and it really just gives you an opportunity to see great films and films that these professors love.
And the nice thing is you don't have to search around online to figure out what the times are. This takes place every Tuesday all the way through the month of March, right, at 7 p.m.?
Exactly. And there are 2 locations. Both Missouri Southern State University will be showing some films, as well as our wonderful Bookhouse Cinema, right, in East Town there. And so there's 2 different locations, but yes, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. and it's free.
Now, there's nothing like maybe a date night for dinner and a movie, or perhaps that you and your significant other, you want to dive into learning how to paint a little bit. And I understand that Jade Henning Cantrell has what's called a couples printmaking class. What exactly goes into a printmaking class?
Yeah, this is at Spiva Center for the Arts, and I think it sounds like the perfect Valentine's date. Basically, you're going to get a block which you will carve a specific design out of, and then you put the ink on the block where you have carved, and you put it down on a paper, and anything that was in that carved space, that negative space, will kind of be the white, and then the flat spaces will be the black. So it'll be a really cool design that you can create anything that you want. And what's really cool about this class is that you and your significant other will both carve a print block of half of a heart. And then at the end, you have no idea what your significant other has done. You'll get to see the heart as a whole and see those 2 different designs side by side. And they will give you a frame so you can put it up on the wall almost instantly.
I love the fact that you brought up that'd be a perfect Valentine's Day gift, because you can do the chocolates and the rose, but if you make it from right here, that really does mean something to somebody. That's a marvelous idea. Hey, we're very fortunate that Connect to Culture has a very important historical exhibit. It's called the 1968 Poor People's Campaign. And first off, I want to thank you for being able to display this all the way through the month of February. Historically, how do you describe that campaign and what it meant in our country's history?
Yeah, so this is an exhibit, a poster exhibit that is created by the Smithsonian and travels around. And the Post Art Library that's located inside the Joplin Public Library has gotten this and has it on display. I believe there are about 18 different posters that you can take a look at. And this exhibit really honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final and most ambitious vision that each U.S. citizen should have equal access to economic opportunities and the American dream. So you will see, you'll examine this Poor People's Campaign. It's a grassroots multiracial movement that drew thousands of people to Washington, D.C. during 1968. And demonstrators demanded these social reforms, and they lived side by side in a tent city, which they called Resurrection City, and it was on the National Mall. And they lived there for 43 days, kind of backing these ideals. And so you'll get to see in these posters, ephemera from that time. You'll get to see different things that they've collected through a poster exhibit.
And I think the great thing about having that exhibit at the Post Art Library, that's on 20th Street, folks, by the way, is that thanks in part to you and Connect to Culture, anything that you're able to secure from the Smithsonian and bring here to the 4 states shows you the importance of how truly it is in our entire nation's history.
Exactly. It is very important that we look back, especially during February.
And parents, take your kids. It's a wonderful opportunity for them to learn about the past as well. I tell you what, we're up against a break. Can I get you to stick around here a little bit? I want to talk about a homecoming celebration that I know is near and dear to your heart and the heart of many people, not only in the 4 states, connected culture, but can really benefit all of us in the long run.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be back and visit more with Emily Frankowski of Connected Culture, and we'll have more KOAM morning news for you right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. We turn now to the COVID-19 pandemic. New cases topped 500,000 on Saturday. That's down 33% over the last 2 weeks. Lilia Luciano is in Los Angeles with more.
A sigh of relief this weekend as the Omicron surge starts to stabilize in cities nationwide.
It's scary to be out because there's so many people around.
COVID deaths skyrocketed 86% since New Year's, but new infections and hospitalizations are now dropping. And there's some welcome optimism on the new variants front. Former FDA Commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb says it appears vaccines could fight the stealth subvariant BA2.
There's data out of the UK that suggests that a fully boosted person may be more protected against this new variant than they were against the original strain of Omicron.
Still, just 41% of Americans are boosted, but roughly 80 million haven't gotten a single shot. Yet the nation is eager for normalcy. San Francisco will be the first major city to roll back its indoor mask mandate starting Tuesday. And in Arkansas, where masking isn't required, Governor Asa Hutchinson is calling for a whole new mindset.
We need to move from a pandemic status. I think we need to move out of the panic mode.
Currently, 9 states still have indoor mask mandates. California is set to lift its orders in about 2 weeks on February 15th. And that's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Our temperatures right now anywhere from 18 to about 34. We'll all end up in the 60s later on today, but we've got winter weather on the way. We're going to break down our timing and our weather threats right after this.
Drumline.
Coming up, a man from Miami, Oklahoma sees the inside of a jail cell after leading the police on a chase that involved a shooting.
No worries on this Monday from the Skywatch Storm Tracker, but eventually this picture is going to be replaced by snow and freezing rain. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And a beloved chicken restaurant in Pittsburgh goes up for sale. We'll have what this means for it and those who love the restaurant.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip, who's got good news about today's forecast.
Delightful Monday, Tanya. As a matter of fact, we're going to see some places that are going to enjoy a 40-degree bump up from where we stand right now. So we've got mid-30s here throughout southwest Missouri, about high 20s through northeast Oklahoma, and then the temperatures gradually cool as we push west through southeast Kansas, as low as 18 degrees right now in Sedan. Joplin, pretty comfortable 34 considering this is the final day of January, and no worries on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Sunrise around 7:24, going to be an absolutely glorious start with the ridge of the jet stream right here moving its way. It's not pronounced, just a little bit of a bump. But as it moves its way from west to east, bringing us warmer temperatures. The nor'easter finally calming down. Now they've got to unpile about 20 to 34 inches of snow from the mid-Atlantic up through New England. And our attention is turned to the Pacific Northwest. Big low pressure system making its way in off the Pacific. Before it gets here, today's going to be great. Sunny skies up around 65 degrees. And then we turn our attention to Tuesday night into Wednesday, because we will start with scattered rain for Tuesday afternoon. As we progress into Wednesday morning, the cold front transitions that over into snow, but more importantly, that's the old freezing rain right there, and it sticks around all day Wednesday. Our commute times for the morning and the evening are going to be problematic. Plan on getting out early and taking plenty of time. The snow and the ice, it's going to stick around. Highs only in the 20s on Wednesday and Thursday. Overnight lows, single digits.
Well, a man from Miami, Oklahoma sits behind bars after he led police on a car chase with multiple shots fired. Authorities say they got a call around 8 a.m. Saturday saying 2 vehicles were chasing each other and a person in one car was shooting at the other car. The two eventually stopped, and one person got out of the car and began shooting at the other car again. Officers later located the car that shots had been fired from. They discovered two men in the car and took one of them into custody. The investigation is still underway. An event that fishers and hunters love returns to Pittsburgh over the weekend. The show featured a number of events and exhibits. Some of the things featured included boats, ATVs, tractors, and mowers. There was even a kids casting contest.
We had it's our 16th annual fishing and hunting show. We've had a great turnout. Yesterday was the busiest day I've seen, with just tons of exhibitors, fishing, hunting, taxidermy, all kinds of good stuff for people to see.
The event was held at the Memorial Auditorium and Convention Center. Pittsburgh Wrestling Club hosted a tournament for kids of all skill levels over the weekend. The tournament provides multiple divisions for both experienced and novice athletes, and those athletes range from kindergarten to 8th grade.
So this is our second annual 4-state duels. We're trying to get teams from all 4 states here in our 4-state area. We got teams from Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas here. We didn't get an Arkansas representative this year, but we got 28 teams, about 300 kids here today.
Tournament was held at the high school. Candle making, given a spotlight as Black Crow Trading Company hosts a candle pouring event. Participants had their opportunity to make their own candles. Idea came from one of the vendors at the Black Crow who makes candles regularly as a way to bring the community together.
Just getting the community together. Like I said, having something to do, even on a Sunday when there's not a lot going on, brings us together. COVID kind of took a lot of those activities away from us, so this is something that we can just enjoy together.
Owens says as a small community, it's important to support local businesses. The beloved chicken restaurant is up for sale. Now, which one may that be? Well, the iconic Chicken Mary's, located north of Pittsburgh. It's not closing, though. A manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations.
But I'm going to miss being here. The joy of, seeing people happy. There's a lot of things I'm really going to miss. It's going to be super hard. I'm not going to lie and say it's going to be easy to walk away, because it's not. But, there's things in life I want to do while I'm still able to do them too.
Cobb Realty Company has posted the property price at $1.1 million. On this day, back in 1950, President Harry S. Truman publicly announced his decision to support the development of the hydrogen bomb. The weapon at the time theorized to be hundreds of times more powerful than the atomic bombs dropped on Japan during World War II. President Truman, at the time of the war, authorized the dropping of 2 atomic bombs, nicknamed Fat Man and Little Boy, on the Japanese cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Just 2 years after his public announcement, the U.S. successfully detonated Mike, the world's first hydrogen bomb, on the Inuiatak Atoll in the Pacific Marshall Islands. That was November 1st, 1952. 10.4 megaton thermonuclear device instantly vaporized an entire island and left a crater more than a mile wide. Wow.
That thing was so large, they never did figure out a way to get it on a plane. Actually, it was in a warehouse. This is where they detonated it.
Yeah, let's keep it there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Anything explosive coming up in the weather?
Actually lost, I know we lost at least one pilot that was going in to gather up atmospheric materials after that. No bombogenesis, no bomb cyclone. Got some cold coming, that's for sure. Now, not today. Today's going to be around 64 degrees, sunny skies. A little south breeze, gust up to 20 miles per hour. Not too overwhelming. Very, very nice overnight as well. Now, here's when the changes come. We get into Tuesday afternoon and evening. It begins as rain, so nothing big there. It's Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. This is where it gets a little bit treacherous, because we've got snow and freezing rain just in time for Wednesday's drive, and it sticks around all day Wednesday. And we need to plan appropriately, whether it be leaving early, Maybe you have the opportunity to work from home, and if you do, bundle up no matter where you are. Highs on Wednesday and Thursday only in the 20s, overnight lows single digits from Thursday night and Friday night.
Well, that's a look at this morning's top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the future of those monthly child tax credits remains in limbo on Capitol Hill, but households with children should pay attention to a letter from the IRS. Plus, we're talking about when is the best time to tie the knot. If you're like this couple, a little thing like a snowstorm won't stop your big day. We let you weigh in. We'll be right back.
Feel the thrill of
In Consumer Watch this morning, while the future of monthly child tax credit payments remains in limbo on Capitol Hill, households with children should pay close attention to a letter from the IRS. Karen Kaifa runs down what to know about last year's monthly child tax credit payments and what's ahead for the attempt to bring them back.
As tax season begins, millions of U.S. households with children are receiving IRS letter 6419, and experts say it's important.
It documents how many children the IRS is aware of that you have or dependents that qualify for the child tax credit, and it tells you how much payment the IRS made on your behalf throughout 2021.
From July through December 2021, the IRS says more than 36 million households received monthly advances on 2021 tax credits for children under age 17. The payments, part of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan signed by President Joe Biden last March. Caroline Bruckner, managing director of the KOGAD Tax Policy Center at American University, says this will require extra attention when you file your taxes.
In recognizing that this may be a little bit confusing, the IRS rolled out a new website, the childtaxcredit.gov website, where you can go to research how much you should have received, how much you did receive, and reconcile that letter with what you actually got.
The number on the letter should represent half of the amount to which a household was entitled. The other half can be claimed on a 2021 return. There were no payments in January 2022. The program expired with Biden's social safety net package mired in Senate gridlock.
We hear from families themselves that they said, the child tax credit is not nearly enough to sort of live on or give up their paid work for. What it does do is help them get to work, by making sure they can cover childcare expenses, put gas in the car.
Megan Curran of the Center on Poverty and Social Policy at the Columbia University School of Social Work says research showed the payments helped lower child poverty rates and child hunger.
The number one use of the child tax credit payments has been on food.
In addition to reviving the child tax payments for 2022, the stalled Biden Build Back Better bill wants to boost funding for the overstretched IRS. Without that, this tax season, Bruckner urges taxpayers to seek help early, especially with pandemic-era programs.
This has created just an extraordinary amount of work with fewer folks to actually do that work than at any other time, and this is also compounded by the reality of the pandemic.
The filing deadline for most taxpayers is Monday, April 18th. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Let's go over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning, discussing vows in unusual weather. There's a Rhode Island couple that have been waiting to get married for 14 months. They just got hitched over the weekend, and of course, that's when that nor'easter blasted the entire East Coast. Anywhere from 20 to 34 inches of snow. So our question to you is, we ask, what's your ideal season to have a wedding in? And right now, 36% of you say it's fall. Earlier, it was the spring that was dominating the poll, but now fall looks like the opportune time. You can take part each and every morning. Connect to us via our Facebook page, KOAM News Now. You can also go directly to the poll, koamnewsnow.com/vote, or if you got your phone handy, all you have to do is take a picture of that. That's the QR code, and it will deliver you directly to the poll. We're going to come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. But first, a trip to the Big Apple, where we check in with Nate.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, we'll meet grand influencers, tech-savvy seniors who are becoming powerful content creators, and social media sensations. That means you can age like fine wine and shine. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Delbert Bradley. Bradley served in the U.S. Navy as a gunner's mate third class from 1951 to 1955 aboard the USS St. Paul during the Korean War. Delbert Bradley hails from Fredonia, Kansas. We thank you, gunner's mate third class Delbert Bradley, today's four-state hero.
The birthday list begins with Gabriel Sanders, who's rocking on at age 5. Happy birthday, Gabriel, with love from Mamo.
All right, and we've got Gunnar Burton, who's 7 strong this year. Looks like he's having fun at the beach. Love to join you there. In Columbus.
Geyer Humble celebrating 7 as well. Understand that Geyer goes by the nickname of Birdie. I like the get up there, Geyer. Happy birthday in McCune.
All right, and Cooper Hodgson. Looks like the award-winning Cooper Hodgson. In Joplin is 7 strong this year. Birthday wishes coming from Dad, Mom, Aaliyah, Maylee, and Benjamin.
Willa Fecky, she is turning 8. Tell you what, Willa, that hat's going to come in handy here middle of the week right there. That's going to keep you nice and warm. Willa celebrates in Carl Junction with birthday wishes from Mommy, Daddy, and your sister.
Ah, Willa getting cuter every year. Happy birthday. All right, and then we've got Reed Prophet turning 9 years old this year. Future firefighter there in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday, Reed.
Jake Harris, get the driver's license ready. Old Jake turning 16. Jake, a happy birthday to you in Jasper.
And in Columbus, Keona Frobish celebrating birthday number 20 this year. Hope it's a great one, Keona.
Caleb Riddenauer with a 20th birthday and a nice catch right there. Pretty impressive picture there, Caleb. He had a birthday over the weekend. He is in Pittsburgh.
All right. In Jasper, Jacob Jennings celebrating birthday number 32 this year.
All right, Peter Conk, the big 4-0 right there. And I tell you what, I got a birthday message here from Mama, Paul Pepper, and Auntie Bugcock that not only do they love you, but Peter, they cannot believe that you are 40. Welcome to the club, my friend. A happy birthday in Joplin.
All right. Speaking of welcome to 40, yeah, Ira, I cannot believe this, already 40. Harina Ira celebrating birthday number 40 this year. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Ira. Jonathan Hauschel is 41. Jonathan, a happy birthday in Carthage.
And Tessie Riddenauer celebrating a birthday over the weekend, now 43 years old in Weir. Hope it was a great one, Tessie.
Nicholas Ibarra, a happy birthday as he is celebrating number 49, and these birthday wishes coming from your fiance, Teresa. That picture you see right there, that is the actual Green Goblin from Maximum Overdrive. Do you remember that movie, Tanya?
Maximum Overdrive?
Yes. It's a Nicholas, if you're a huge fan of Maximum Overdrive, then I'm glad you're a huge fan of it. Emilio Estevez was the star, if you will.
I'd probably have to go back and check it out. Yeah. It's not ringing a bell, but that's pretty cool. Cool truck. First I thought that was his truck. That'd be really cool. Happy birthday, Nicholas. Let's see, Jen Cam turning 67 years old. Pretty floral background there behind Jen in Chanute.
Lonnie Arnell is celebrating his 74th birthday. Lonnie, a very happy birthday to you, my friend, in Erie.
All right, and we've got a belated anniversary wish going out to Randy and Patty Robeson, celebrating 50 years together over the weekend. I hope you had a wonderful celebration in Columbus.
Got a couple of birthdays in Parsons that we got to pass along. One of those is Miss Barbara Ellen Clark. Miss Clark is celebrating her 80th birthday. And Barbara Ellen, I hope you have a marvelous, marvelous birthday. And Kaylin Amundsen, she is celebrating her 57th, and she is in Parsons as well. Let's wrap it up with a very happy birthday wish for one Bill Greenlee. Mr. Greenlee celebrating number 72 in Commerce. And Bill, these happy birthday wishes come with love from John and Sue. A happy birthday and happy anniversary to all on this final day of January. That's where you can turn them into. Birthdays at KOAMTV.com. You can also go to our website at KOAMNewsNow.com. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Coming up here in just a little bit when we transition over to Fox 14, an indigenous community faces murders and kidnappings, and now a group set up in March to try to advocate for change and get justice for those who have been murdered, but they say no justice has been served. We're going to find out their story about a needed change when we have the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right here, right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The infamous Tiger King won't be seeing the outside of a jail cell anytime soon. The federal judge has resentenced Tiger King Joe Exotic to 21 years in prison. Former zookeeper in Oklahoma, whose real name is Joseph Maldonado Passage, was convicted in a murder-for-hire case involving his chief rival, Carol Baskin. He was sentenced 2 years ago to 22 years in prison, but a federal appeals court ruled last year the proper sentencing guidelines were not used. He was resentenced in Oklahoma City. Prosecutors say Maldonado Passage tried to hire two different people, including an undercover FBI agent, to kill Baskin, who had criticized his treatment of animals. Baskin attended Friday's sentencing and said Maldonado Passage, quote, continues to harbor intense feelings of ill will toward me. Beloved Chicken Restaurant is up for sale. It's the iconic Chicken Mary's located in rural Pittsburgh, but it's not closing. The manager tells us the sale is contingent on the new owner agreeing to continue to operate the restaurant and retain the managers. Chicken Mary's is one of the restaurants that's drawn chicken lovers to Southeast Kansas for generations. And Susan Babcock may work in insurance, but her passion lies in art. At the Oswego Senior Center, Susan put on what she likes to call a paint party. Now, these parties can be public or they can be private. Although the holiday season has passed, winter is still upon us and in full swing. Susan and her students painted snowmen decorations to put up on their door. 50 schools and 1,000 archery students came to Carl Junction for an annual event. This event is Pink Shoot, which brings together archery students from across the region. The reason it's the Pink Shoot is they work to get Hope for You Breast Cancer Foundation involved and help raise money for them throughout the day. For some of the competitors, including the coach, this tournament means a lot for them. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Our temperature slipped out in the west out there in southeast Kansas, down to 19 in the O'Deshea and Independence, 17 in Sedan. And then go ahead and double that for the likes of Joplin, Lamar, and Carthage, where it's already 34. Let's go 31 in Fort Scott, 27 right now in Miami. Remember, it's going to be warm today, up into the mid-60s. A little south wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And overnight, this is delightful. And enjoy it, because it's going to change drastically. We start with rain tomorrow afternoon into the nighttime hours. And on top of that, Wednesday morning, massive Canadian cold front turns that rain into snow, and more importantly, the freezing rain, the wintry mix, snow and freezing rain there in the pink. And this thing lasts all the way into really Thursday morning. Winter storm watch lasts until Friday, and it just brutal cold temps, especially overnight, single digits there, 3 and 5 degrees as we head toward the weekend. Right. Hello, February.
Hello, February. All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making Chinese almond rounds in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM with the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, the Black Eyed Peas head back out on the road, but with a female singer whose name is not Fergie. We'll explain.
Plus, we'll have Emily Frankowski from Connect to Culture with us. Do me a favor, enjoy some warm temps. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.
Hey, Josh. Yes, Mr. Lopez? Check out these camera views on my Silverado. I can see in front of me,